I mean, who is this guy, Chuck Morris? I mean, what's the big deal about this guy?
I sometimes scream a lot in the office, mostly out of excitement. Ah! And it usually means something good has happened, which most people think I was shot.
Look, you know, Chuck's really smart, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Chuck comes from a really good place. And that's the base of what matters.
Well, he's crazy, to start with. No, look, Chuck he's a visionary.
I'm Kevin Fitzgerald, and anything that's happened to me in my life, I owe to Chuck Morris. I started at the sink with Chuck. Chuck told me when he hired me, you know, I'm going to give you a flashlight and a $1.39 an hour, which was minimum wage, and a hamburger every shift. And you're gonna meet more girls than Elvis Presley. And so I was like, where do I sign?
I went to a Kingston Trio concert when I was very young and fell in love with folk music, fell in love with the Kingston Trio, bought all their albums, bought a Martin tenor guitar, which was what Nick Reynolds and the Kingston Trio played. That's the 4-string guitar for those of you who don't know what that means. Chris Daniels, of course, knows.
I met Chuck for the first time when he was just this ball of energy running Tulagi. He was running around. He was a little crazy. And over the years, I've just maintained this friendship with him and watched the development of Chuck Morris into the icon. But in the middle of that, he's just Chuck.
I graduated from high school when I was 16. And from Queens College, the City University, at 20, and came out to Boulder to go to graduate school in poli-sci, because I did love politics. That was my second love. And I decided one day I was going to drop out of graduate school, which to my parents' dismay, they thought either I was insane or having a nervous breakdown or, you know, they were worried sick.
Everybody has a different gift, and some people have different geniuses, but it doesn't always apply. But Chuck had his genius for business and for the music, but his gift was relationships.
I would leave Norland Library at 11:30. I'd study there when I was going for my doctorate and have a beer with Herbie, this older gentleman I really liked. And one day I had told him I had dropped out of graduate school and I wanted to do something with music or with people. I wasn't really sure what. And to my absolute amazement, he said, the manager of the sink just quit. Why don't you manage the sink for me? And I took it over and did some things that the sink hadn't done before. I started booking some local bands. One of them was a band called Flash Cadillac.
Flash would play and there was skin to win. So there would be prizes, and the more naked people got, the better the prizes got. So as the night went on, you know, the band got a little rowdier, and you know, these things wouldn't work for everybody, but they were perfect for me. And being a kid, watching Chuck work with people was the best training I ever had for how to deal with the public.
He's a force of nature, right? So whereas most guys can be boring in this business, he comes in and it's like, wait a second, is that Elton John? No, it's Sally Jesse Raphael. No, it's Rip Taylor. No, it's, who was that guy?
See, that's what's amazing about Chuck. He still has this brilliant enthusiasm.
I wanted to really do bigger shows, but every time I wanted to do a bigger show, I would lose him to this guy, Barry Fay, who I'd never met on, but we fought over the phone over bands, and he usually got them because he was the big promoter, and I had a very hot rock club, but I was still just had one very hot rock club. And then he comes walking into Loggies, all 305 pounds, I think he was at that point, and sat down in my office and basically said, you find a club, I'll put up all the money and we'll be 50-50 partners.
In August of '81, I started answering phones at Phaline, and about 6 months later, he came up to me and he says, "You're gonna be my assistant." And I was like, okay, and I had never been an assistant before, but figured I could learn. And I probably had one of the best teachers. Her name was Jenny Ganal. She was Barry Fay's assistant at the time, and she helped me. And so I learned from her, and then Chuck taught me everything else I know about rock and roll.
I came with Chuck from Tulagi's now to the Sink to Tulagi's now to Evans. And Barry was a partner. Now the acts were not flying the zippers, and now not Dan Hicks and the Hot Licks, but now Steve Martin and you know, these giant acts. But Chuck was no different.
Part of what makes Chuck so great is he's also accessible, okay? And you know, I guess, you know, people think of Chuck Morris, maybe outside of, you know, our little world, and like, you know, he is a titan of music. But in our office, he's the goofball Chuck.
He wants to be friends with everyone. He doesn't like to ruffle feathers. And sometimes we just need to mix it up a little bit.
You know, Brent has really done some of the greats. You know, stealing Chuck's BlackBerry in the olden days and, you know, sending messages to Irving Azoff, who manages the Eagles, saying, "I hate the Eagles."
There is a thing that we do where we take his face and basically insert it on all sorts of pictures, animals, things like that.
We had a t-shirt made when Chuck turned 60, and we all wore them, and it had all different Chuckisms on the back of it. And one of them was, "Did she have my baby in 1976? So whenever a woman would call that we didn't know, we'd always kid, "Maybe she's the one."
You know, Chuck also has a habit of forgetting that he left his car running in the parking lot when he came to work. So a couple times his car's disappeared. You know, if you leave your car running with the door open for 4 hours, it might just disappear. Where's my car? Oh no!
Chuck and I actually left Phaline 83, 4, somewhere in there. I can't remember the exact date. And he started a management company and got away from promoting, and then managed the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Leo Kottke, Lyle Lovett, Big Head Todd and the Monsters, Desert Rose Band, Susie Bogus, put together Highway 101.
Chuck basically got with the Bill Graham Company in San Francisco, said that he wanted to open up a concert promoting shop in Denver. He reached out to me. I had just left Fay Concerts. He said, "Get over to my house right now. Let's talk about this. I have a plan." And that was the launch of Bill Graham Presents, Chuck Morris Presents.
You know, Chuck had a vision, and, you know, he wanted to take that Mammoth Event Center and turn it into a venue.
We renovated what was Mammoth Gardens into the Fillmore Auditorium, and that became like our new home. And we launched from there 20 years ago, 19 whatever. It is the 20th anniversary of the Fillmore next year. So the vision for AEG was we were going to be able to start with a clean palette, and we knew we were going to leave the Fillmore behind us. But we had an owner who lived in the market, Mr. Anschutz, that we knew we would have complete support from.
Chuck recognized that in order for himself to grow, people who were coming up had to be able to find opportunities and grow. That is still the most important thing at AEG Presents. You know, so the 21-year-old who's coming in, you know, as a part-time assistant, intern, you know, paid intern, obviously, production, whatever it might be, every one of these people, you know, is becoming part of that same concept.
As long as I've known Chuck, he's been involved with charitable causes and giving back to the community. That's kind of one of the things that lights him up. Whether it's the Make-A-Wish Foundation or working for the CU Foundation or working with the governor and governors in the past to try and make a difference. And he always does. It's kind of a quiet part of what he does, but it's an essential part of what Chuck does, giving back to the community. It's the reason the Colorado Music Hall of Fame exists.
If I had to say what I'd like to thank Chuck about, it'd be why he deserves to be where he is his consistency. He's consistent to his vision of what concert going should be, and to the people that work for him. He's consistent and honest, so thank you.
Chuck, I love you. Congratulations. It's a very well-deserved honor. Now, can I get your office?
Chuck, congratulations on your induction into the Colorado Music Hall of Fame. You've been a mentor to me. I owe a lot to you for my career, and I hope you just keep on trucking, buddy.
I'm gonna cry. Can we stop, or? Just want you to know that you are one of my best friends, and we're a hell of a boss, and I love you dearly. And this induction is so deserved, and I'm so proud that I got to ride around for 37 years with you. So let's get the party started.
Hey, Chuck. Congratulations on getting in the Colorado Hall of Fame. I wish I could be there to roast you personally, but I'm going to send my love and congratulations and just tell you that ever since Tulagi's and all those gigs in Denver, every time I played, it was always about what a great host you were and what a great music fan you've been. And, you've been a friend to us as well as somebody that's our promoter. And you did a great job, and you're going to continue to do a great job managing and building theaters. Some of my most memorable shows have been with you, and I want to thank you for a lifetime of making this state one of the go-to, prestigious, most fun, most beautiful venue in the whole country. And I'll never forget playing Colorado, and luckily I don't have to stop. So here's to many more decades together. Congratulations.
Chuck, we've been friends for almost 50 years. Say, that's a long time, buddy. But you've done so much for the Colorado community. So on behalf of the Colorado Music Hall of Fame, presented by Comfort Dental, I'm honored, I'm proud, and I'm really happy to welcome you as an inductee in 2018 to the Colorado Music Hall of Fame.
I never got the thing with the glasses, what that was. Well, why they're all different colored, just maybe he's from another planet. They needed a filter. I never understood. Somebody told him that it was cool. But, Keith always said, you're not hip forever, but Chuck is.
Say, what a life, what a life, my life. What a life, what a life. I wouldn't swap it for anybody, not even babies or diamonds or money. What a life.
I gotta hug you. It's for the video. It's for the video. I love it. I love Brent. Made my life. Brent is so weird. Wait, Don. Hug me. Hug me. I'm gonna be in the video. Behind our club.